guys, and welcome to Taking Back Monday, your positivity podcast with the leader of the dojo. Most people call him Senpai, but we just call him Malnox. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. How are you? I was enjoying a 2-day weekend. I usually get 1-day weekends. I worked until just like 12:30 on Saturday, and then I had Sunday, Monday off. So it was nice. It was nice to have more than 1 day off. Although it feels like it was so short, I can't believe I'm going back to work tomorrow. I don't want it to happen. But you know, how are you?
Speaking of going back to work tomorrow, I'm going back to work tomorrow. It was fun. I had the most painstaking headache earlier, but it's gone now. I don't get headaches ever, like years apart. But when I get a headache, because I just don't ever get them, it's like, oh my god,
What is this?
I'm gonna die.
What is this?
So that was fun.
Sounds like the opposite of fun, actually.
But we still made it to Brogue Company. We still made it to Taking Back Monday. We still start work tomorrow. So you know what? Like, you take the bad, you take the good.
Yeah, man.
And there you have the facts of life.
Sounds like you're not letting those little setbacks get in your way.
Little setbacks getting in your way. That's funny you should say that, because that is what we're talking about today.
Oh, no way.
Before we start talking about that, Malnox.
What's up, man?
There are millions, and I mean millions,
I know,
of people watching this live.
I know.
Watching this on YouTube later, listening to this on podcast form, wherever podcasts are sold.
The pressure gets to me sometimes.
And they all want to know, where can I follow Malnox on the internet?
You know,
that guy seems cool.
He does seem cool. All an act. You just don't follow him anyway. You don't want to follow that guy.
Elijah, do it.
If you do want to follow me, for some weird reason, then you guys can find me anywhere on the internet at Malnox, on Instagram, on Facebook, on Snapchat, on TikTok, on Twitch. The only place you guys, on YouTube, the only place you can't find me at Malnox is on Twitter, where it's Malnox TV. Some guy has the tag Malnox. He tweets once a year. Hashtag release the tag. Come on, man, just give it to me. Sly, if people come to their senses and decide to make a much better decision and follow you instead, where might they be able to find you on the internet?
You can follow me at It's That Sly Guy literally everywhere. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, MySpace,
Zanga, Snapchat,
Snapchat, OnlyFans, Plex Storm.
Yeah. All those fine places.
The hub.
You know.
Of all the streaming websites.
Yeah.
Not talking about any other hub. I don't know what you're talking about. We were talking about Twitch, because it's like the hub of
Stream Hub.
Social, yeah.
It's streamhub.net.
It's .org.
So, Sly, we briefly went through a little bit of what we're going to be talking about tonight. Talking about taking those little setbacks that might come at us in our day-to-day, but not letting those knock us off track. Talking about recovering from those little setbacks, or things we can do to not let them affect us. Now, we touched on this topic here and there through our other episodes, but I think it's a good one to really kind of zone in on and talk about a little bit more. Talk about a little more some different strategies maybe of overcoming those little comebacks, some different strategies of not letting them get us down mentally or emotionally, and maybe talk a little bit about, how we deal with it, and, have a little story time.
Yeah. To be fair, I think there's one thing we need to do before that. The vital and crucial part of the podcast. What was one great thing that happened this week?
Indeed.
My favorite part of the podcast.
How could I forget? Before we dive in, guys. The weekly highlight. This week. Man, this week I had some good things happen this week. Had some good days at work. Had some good streams. Made some fun videos for YouTube. If I had to pick just one thing, though, I would say on Saturday after work, went out to a forest preserve around here with the girlfriend and the pup. Took a nice long walk, went down by, a river there, walked along the river, walked through the woods. Just had a good time hanging out in nature, man. How about you?
For me, I think the highlight of my last week was the fact that I got to be part of an amazing stream with an amazing individual who was raising money for breast cancer awareness through a charity called Barbells for Boobs.
Oh man, who was that?
His name was Malnox.
No way.
It was Sunday. He did a streamathon, raised a couple $100 for Barbells for Boobs, and is continuing that through this month and next. So if you ever want to donate, you could donate at any time.
He is?
But for the next couple of months, you could donate through Matt's Twitch channel by coming in and hitting the Barbells command.
No way. That's so cool. Yes, guys. Huge shout out to everyone that stopped by, hung out, donated, made yesterday a great time, guys. We had a lot of fun hanging out, playing games, and raising money for a great charity, guys. It's going all through this month, all next month. We have a special sub emote to celebrate it. That's currently in review by Twitch and has been for like 5 days. Come on, guys, beat it up. But you guys can grab that. There's
to be fair, your emote is just a pair of boobs. Like,
damn, you know what?
It would have been cool if you did like a barbell or something
with like the breast cancer ribbon wrapped around it. Man.
Oh yeah.
Only I would have thought of that. But thank you again, guys, for hanging out, for doing that yesterday. It was a lot of fun. I look forward to continuing to raise money for the next couple months. If you're watching this later on YouTube, I'll leave a link with more information in the description down below.
As will I.
All right. So, guys, setbacks. Last time we talked about setting goals that were SMART. SMART. And, while you're trying to achieve those goals, inevitably you're going to have setbacks. No goal, no path, no journey is a straight line, right? You're going to have to go around things. You're going to have to go over things, under things, through things. You're going to have obstacles set in your path that you need to overcome. You're going to have things that make the goal or make the journey longer than you initially thought. And when that happens, it's easy to get discouraged. You can, let it throw you off and let it discourage you to the point where you lose sight of that goal and decide you don't want to try anymore, you don't want to do it anymore. Or you can do what we're going to talk about today, and you can overcome it. You can get past it. You cannot let that little thing that happened throw you off and take your eyes off the prize at the end. Think about a goal that you've had and think about the reason that you stopped that goal. And I guarantee you're going to think of more than just one. I guarantee you're going to think of multiple goals that you've had, that you've stopped, and there's going to be a lot of reasons why they'll stop. Some of those reasons are within your control. Some of those reasons are outside of your control. But, I would say that the average person has probably quit more goals than they've accomplished.
Valid.
And it's because sometimes it's hard. It could come from a lack of planning. Maybe you didn't set your goals up in a similar fashion to the way we talked about last time. Or again, maybe there was external factors that made that so. But to avoid these setbacks, not all of them, but to avoid some setbacks, I think that it's important that you have those goals planned out. So step one to overcoming those setbacks is to set yourself up for success, right? You don't want to set yourself up for a goal that's going to be riddled with these hardships and these setbacks. You want to set yourself up for a goal that, like we talked about last week, a goal that's smart and a goal that we can feasibly achieve. So I think that's the easiest way to do it. Doesn't really go into what we're talking about today in the sense of overcoming those setbacks, but if you set yourself up for success in the first place, you're gonna have less setbacks to overcome.
You were so Andy from The Office. As you were talking, I had a picture of Andy doing his sex ed episode, and he's like, and the only true form of safe sex is abstinence. And Daryl jumps in and is like, oh, I didn't realize it was a trick question. What's the safest way to go skiing? Don't ski.
Yep.
The best way to overcome setbacks is to prepare yourself to where you don't have setbacks.
Done. Podcast over. End.
No, but that, in reality, that is a great point. The more prepared you are on the front end to achieve your goals, the less likely you are to hit those setbacks and those bumps in the road.
Yeah. I think one of the big things, and this is something that I saw a lot of firsthand, back in March when COVID first hit at my work, was when you have setbacks, when you have obstacles, having the ability to pivot is crucial. Having the ability to adjust your course as you're going, to realize the obstacle and pivot around it, pivot through it, whatever, just to pivot your course, and be able to continue forward, just maybe in a little bit of a different direction. This threw a wrench, COVID threw a wrench in everyone's life. This is a huge setback in a lot of people's goals. But it's not something that, you can't overcome. We've still been pretty successful during this time at my work. And a lot of it was, attributed to our ability to quickly pivot, quickly shift course, and quickly start doing, what we needed to do, changing what we needed to change. And we like to talk about, since I'm a martial arts instructor, we like to think that, being a black belt helps because you have to be adaptable to a lot of different situations. That's what we work on in a lot of our training. And, having that adaptability is imperative to finishing your goal, because again, your goal is never going to be a straight line. So you need to be able to pivot. You need to be able to adjust your course based on what's happening around you. And to know what's happening around you and to understand the situation that you're in, you got to have a lot of self-awareness. That's something we talked about a while ago on the podcast, back when we were covering the 5 pillars of emotional intelligence. But it's true. You need to have that self-awareness to realize this isn't working. I need to change what I'm doing. So I think that's the first thing when you encounter a setback. First thing that you need to do to come over it is realize that it's a setback and adjust accordingly.
Yeah. The other thing I would say is put it into perspective.
Mm-hmm.
right? Because we're talking about small setbacks
Yes.
right now. We're not talking about major set. We talked about my goal of the 5K, right? Being able to go a run 5K without stopping to walk, jog, anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about spraining my ankle,
Yeah.
not having to amputate my leg, right?
Mhm.
So being able to put it into perspective of like, okay, spraining my ankle, if that's my goal of doing a 5K, is that a setback? Yeah, but I rest. I can do different things,
Mm-hmm.
and when my ankle heals up, I can go right back into that grind of trying to get there. So being able to put it in perspective of, a lot of times we hit a setback and we're like, oh no, the world is over. I can't do it anymore. I've sprained my ankle. I'll never run again.
Yep.
No,
Like, oh, you'll be okay.
you'll be okay. Like, I had I had 2 sodas today and I was trying to cut out caffeine. Cool. Tomorrow, don't have a soda.
Yep.
Tomorrow, stick harder to the 1 soda a day that you know, like put things into perspective, and then also going hand in hand with this, evaluate, right? Like, if I've sprained my ankle and my goal is to do the 5K full run the whole time, there are other things I can do.
Yeah.
With a sprained ankle.
Mm-hmm.
I can do sit-ups. I can do, there are other things I can do that maybe not as beneficial as actually just going out and running for that
Mhm.
goal, but are going to lean into that still,
For sure.
right? So like evaluating, okay, so where does the setback put me and how can I work around it?
Mm-hmm. 100%.
Are two big things.
And I think another thing is, we talked. I briefly touched on, some things you have control over, some things are going to be out of your control. When it comes to these setbacks, and when you encounter something like that, it's important that you focus on what you can control. Focus on the things that you can control. Focus on the things that you can change. Don't focus on the things that you can't change. Don't
Yeah.
focus on the fact that, oh my God, I sprained my ankle. You can't control that happened. Like, you can't unsprain your ankle. You can do things to make sure that you're resting your ankle and make sure you're not, injuring it further. But like you said, you can still control the work that you put in other areas to stick with your goal. Just because I am trying to get partner on Twitch, right? And that's my goal. And I, hit a setback of, let's say I don't have as much time to live stream anymore, right? I can't put in 8 hours a day like I want to. Well, then maybe, I focus on what I don't focus on that I can't control because I just don't have the time in the day. I focus on what I can control of, trying to make the best use of the time that I do have. Maybe I focus more on content on other platforms. Maybe I focus on YouTube. Maybe I focus on TikTok, whatever. So taking, that goal, reassessing it, and figuring out, all right, well, I've encountered this setback. I can't control, this external factor here, but what can I control? And that's going to also help to keep you motivated, because you're going to feel like you're working towards that goal still, because you are working towards that goal still, as opposed to feeling like you're just stagnating.
Yeah. Also, be multifaceted with your goals. Like I talked about last week, the goal to run the 5K is also built in with a goal to get in better shape, to lose weight, to get stronger. Like, all of those are part of the same goal.
Yes.
Right? So because I'm you avoid the risk of discouragement and disappointment on setbacks when all of your hope is not in one area.
100%.
Right? So like, oh, I sprained my ankle, I can't run anymore. well, I can still be doing things for these other areas that are part of that same multifaceted goal,
Yes.
right? Oh no, I can't stream 8 hours a day like I was earlier in the summer. Well, cool. Your goal wasn't to just stream as much as possible. Your goal was to build a community throughout all of your social
Yeah.
platforms. So like, you you can get on Twitch more, you or on Twitter more. You can get on YouTube. You can focus that energy of what you can do, you know, in that multifaceted area.
100%.
That
100%.
the old adage of don't keep all your eggs in one basket is true with goal setting and setbacks and stuff like that as well, because like, yeah, if your entire dream, hopes and dreams are all to be the CEO of Apple, you're probably going to be disappointed.
I mean, just look at what happened earlier this summer. If people's goal was to be a partner on Mixer, or to be, the biggest X streamer on Mixer, and all you did was focus on growing on Mixer, your platform shut down. Our platform shut down.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just focus on one area, because what happens if it just disappears? That's a setback that, I mean, you can still recover from it, and a lot of people have been doing a great job of recovering from it, but it's going to be a lot harder to recover from that kind of a setback if everything you do is hinging on one thing. Everything that you're trying to do is dependent on one thing that you don't have control over. You don't have control over the platform that you're on. You don't have control over whether or not that platform goes under. If your whole goal is to run the Boston Marathon, not a marathon, not, what you want to run the Boston Marathon, and then the Boston Marathon gets canceled because it's COVID, are you just going to stop? Like, that was, if everything you were doing was hinging on that, it's going to be harder to motivate yourself than if your goal was to, run a marathon, run a,
Yeah.
Or just to improve your mile time, to, what have you, in your goals of running. But if you're training and your goal is just to do this one thing on this one very particular thing, I mean, you're going to get really discouraged if that particular thing goes away.
Yeah. Yeah. I think another thing that I harp on a lot on social media, especially with you, is you gotta have friends that gas you up. You gotta have friends that gas you up, right?
Yep.
So I'm gonna take that a step further, and as much as you gotta have friends that gas you up, you gotta be your own best friend when you're getting into these situations.
For sure.
You gotta be able to gas yourself up, and go, man, I jacked up today. I've gone 3 months only drinking one soda a day, and I had like 20 today. You got to be able to gas yourself up and go, like, dude, I just went 3 months only drinking one soda a day. Sometimes I didn't even drink a soda. Like,
Let's go.
I fucking killed it, bro. You got to be able to gas yourself up. You got to be your own best friend and be able to put that out there.
Yeah. And I think that, ties back to what we were talking about before with, you got to be able to surround yourself with the people that encourage you, surround yourself with those like-minded individuals that share that goal you have, because then when you encounter a setback, you're going to have that support group already to come forward and help you out. And let's say you have a setback in your own goal, but you're surrounded with other people who share that same goal, and you're all supporting each other in going in and helping someone else with that same goal or that similar goal to yours. Is going to help to re-motivate you and keep you on track of your own goal. If I want to do something in the streaming world, and it's similar to a goal that you have, Sly, and I encounter a setback, but then I'm going in and I'm, giving you feedback or helping out or whatever. We're working together on behind the scenes stuff. That's going to motivate me to improve and to keep going and to keep pushing and to not stop because of that setback. That's going to encourage me to keep going through helping you and being with you and being around you. So having those people around you that they can encourage you, but at the same time you can encourage them, just by encouraging someone else is going to help to motivate you through that setback.
Yeah, I also think that there's just I think parents get this idea really easily. I think I understand this really well just because of the amount of kids I work with on a regular basis. I think you probably get this idea really well. But the concept of like, if you surround yourself with people that have the same goal as you, doesn't matter if they're below you in that goal, like chasing after what you've already done, or ahead of you and you're trying to catch up to them. Like, you want to get into a situation where, as a parent, this concept hits home a lot as a parent for those who have kids, where you want their floor to be your ceiling, your ceiling to be their floor. That way you can catapult them up above what you were able to accomplish.
Exactly.
If you have people chasing after the same goals, yeah, Malnox may be ahead of me in some things on what goals that we have similarities chasing, but because of that, Malnox gets to show me the things he's picked up, and I get to catapult myself past those things, and his ceiling becomes my floor.
Yep, and vice versa. I mean, there's things that you're way up on me on, and you show me how. I'm like, oh my god, that's so cool, like that you have that. Like, how did you do that? And you show me, and then just by you showing me, I'm already starting at a higher level than you started at, because you have to figure that all out by yourself and stumble through it. And then you brought me up to that same level you were for me to start at, and for me to grow from there. 100%.
Yeah.
And also I think, like you were talking about, accepting that responsibility is huge when we're talking about overcoming those setbacks, because it's easy to blame other people. It's easy to blame other things. But if you blame other people and you blame other things, you're not going to work through it, because you're going to have, oh man, I can't do that because XYZ, or like, oh, this happened and that's why I didn't do it. Or, like you were giving the example with the sodas or whatever, all my friends were hanging out and they were drinking sodas. And so I drank a bunch of soda with them. And like, if they weren't drinking sodas, I wouldn't drink sodas. Like, no, because then you're not going to work past and improve on that. If you're like, you know what? My goal was to not drink sodas. I drank sodas. I messed up. I'm going to do better tomorrow. Like, that is a totally different level that you need to be at versus that, that blaming mindset. Yeah. You got to be that responsibility and accepting responsibility. That's, you got to be in that growth mindset, right? You want to take what you have done, take what you've just experienced, and internalize it and figure out how to grow from there.
Yeah. And this has to do with the topic we're talking about in general. This also has to do with life, and I've got the churchy explanation of it, but I'm going to give a sports explanation instead to try to branch it out. So you're LeBron, right? You're LeBron. Everybody should have, if everybody can look at themselves as LeBron, everybody should have a Michael, a KD, and a Giannis in their life. And by that I mean, if I'm LeBron James, I need a Michael Jordan in my life. I need someone that I'm looking at that's helping me push past the things that I'm going through. Someone who can step in and mentor me. Everybody needs a KD in their life. Somebody who's on that level, who's competing against you, who's pushing you from the steady standpoint. And everybody needs a Giannis, that younger guy who you get to step in with, and you get to be the Michael for them. Right? So in your life, you need to have those three people. Just in general, period.
Yeah.
And then when you have those three people, these setbacks become almost a non-existent thing,
Hmm.
right? Because not because they don't happen, but because when they do happen, you have somebody that's already gone through it that's helping you push yourself through it. You have somebody who's right there beside you pushing you through it, and you have somebody that you get to look at and help and know that you're going to help them not have those setbacks in their journey.
For sure. 100%.
Right?
100%. Yeah. I think that's really what it comes down to is, just being surrounded with the right people. They're going to help you, get through it in one way or another, either because, like you said, they're a mentor to you and they can, give you advice. They're going through it at the same time as you, you have someone there to kind of, commiserate with. Or, like you said, you have someone that, looks up to you and you're going to help them, overcome this. So then when you're experiencing that setback, you're, almost thinking right away, like, there's a teachable moment for that guy back there. Like, man, this sucks that I'm going through this right now, but I'm going to figure out how to get past this so that I can help him not have to deal with this. I'm going to figure out how to get through this so that the next guy after me doesn't have to figure it out by himself. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I think that goes that just goes into life in general.
Yeah.
Right? You need that without just talking about setbacks. You need that in every aspect of life.
And honestly, I think that's a great spot to close it out on. I mean, this wasn't a long one, but I think it's important things to think about. I think it's important things to keep in mind. Having these people in your life, accepting that responsibility, figuring out that you have that self-awareness to adjust your course. And when you run into these, having someone to reach out to, or if you don't have someone to reach out to, framing it in the way of, I want to get through this to help the next person that comes have someone to reach out to. I didn't have someone to reach out to about this. I want to be that person for the next person. And I think framing like that in your mind is really helpful to motivate and help you keep pushing through, and help you, continue forward with your goal. And also just taking that time to remember your why, right? Taking that time to sit down, to reevaluate your goal, to remember why you set that goal in the first place, and remember why you're doing it to help you get back on track. Sitting down and reflecting is never a bad idea.
Yeah. I agree 100%. And I think if you find yourself in a spot where you feel like you don't have that person to reach out to, like, that's your new goal. Find that person, because they're out there. You just got to find them.
No, you don't got to find them, because they are right here. We'll be those people for you. Guys, links in the description to the Discords, mine, Sly's, anything you need. You need someone to talk to? Come talk to us. You need someone to help you work through things? We're here for you. Well, you don't have someone else in your life that's going to help you and encourage you and help you push through these hardships you're experiencing? You do now. Okay? Because if you think you have no one, that's wrong. Because you got us. Right? And that's 100%. 100%.
And that's because we love you. We want you to love each other. And we want you to be characters that make an impact on the world you're living in. Because
the sun will rise. And we will try again. Peace out, y'all.